Hey friendos, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Matt and we are back with some more Marvel Future Fight. And today we are doing something a little different, and as I promised the other day, I'm just going to collect my friend points. And as you can see, I do have a few gaps, so if you're interested then please hit us up, let us know. But as you can see by some of these icons, we are very much at the end of the year, because some people have already put the old Lunar Snow 2022. I'll say that. Yeah, there we go. There's a couple. There's Section has got one, and I know a couple of other people have got one. I don't even think I've actually collected mine yet. I know we got it the other day, so there it is. You just need to acquire it, and then you can use it yourself. So yes, we're at the end of the year, which means it's report card time. Oh yes, because Marvel Future Fight has had an up and down year. So let us go through what I think has been the highlights and what has been the low points and what the game needs to improve. Now, we've already done the characters, we've already done the updates. That was in my video the other day. If you haven't seen it, then by all means, after you've watched this, then please go ahead, look back and change that. We know that Magneto and Magic did not end up making a massive difference to the overall rankings. So what we're actually going to look at this time is the game modes and see what has changed in terms of new game modes or changes to game modes that have made the game better or worse in 2022. And we are actually going to start off with the events, because some of them have changed for the better. Now the Cosmic Core, you can see we haven't got a lot different, but they have included all the CTPs now, and whilst the two at the end only include Mythic Uru and Mythic cards, they don't include premium cards, they don't include Odin's Blessings, which is a shame. I think they could add them into the pool, as it were, even if the odds of getting them are lower. They have improved what you can get in terms of tier 2 and tier 3 materials, so that's a bonus. I still think they could change a couple of other things. Maybe they could alternate the Mega 6 star with a Mega Mythic uni ticket. That's just me. But apart from that, it's good. Now this is also really good. The Event World Boss. They changed it, I believe, at the start of the year. So instead of costing 25 energy each run for a total of 5 runs, they changed it down to half energy. So it was only 12 energy. You still had to do 5 runs. However, now you can just go in, do 1 run, and you still get the amount of rewards you would get from the old game mode, having done 5 runs. So they have massively increased the playability of this, purely by the fact that instead of spending 60 energy or 125 energy, you now spend 25 energy. You go in once, yeah, it doesn't take more than like 10 seconds, as just shown there, but it's just a nice, it's a quality of life improvement. So therefore I think that in terms of the events, yeah, they get a passing grade. Now, we're going to go through each of the different tabs along the top, so Mission, Challenge, Arena and Co-op. And we're going to start off with Story Mode, because that is the first one here we have on screen. So, in terms of the actual Story Mode, we haven't had any new modes, which is a shame. Like I was saying the other day, I'd really like to see them improve on this. I've got a few great ideas for different story modes they could do. A Guardians one, they could do lots of different ones. The fact is, the most important improvement they made was autoplay and auto dealer set. So you can set your damage dealer, you can set your leader, and you can just auto set it so that it takes on whichever characters you actually need. Whilst it's a huge improvement, a huge quality of life improvement, it's also a big passive play. So you can just set it, you can go away, and you don't actually have to play the game. So I have mixed thoughts on that, but we'll get to that later. Next up is Dimension Mission, and whilst this hasn't actually changed, the pool of characters hasn't changed in terms of who you can receive, I am in the middle of compiling my list. We just have 2 days left in the year, then I can finally finish my lists to break down what the odds are over the course of a year of getting support characters. So stay tuned for that. Don't worry, it's not going to be all spreadsheets. I'm going to do all the legwork and I'm just going to give you guys the answers. Next up we have Dispatch Mission. Again, hopefully we'll get some new ones coming soon. The biggest change that's been made to this is obviously the introduction of tier 4 level 80 characters, because now we can go in and I can set myself a nice mutant team of level 80. We haven't got any of them at tier 4 just yet, but we're working on it, and hopefully we can just breeze through this, whereas before at level 70, even with a really high pierce rate, it was very difficult to do. Now we can go in and you can blitz through this content really quickly. I say that, I haven't actually tried this mission yet. So if this goes all disastrously wrong, that would be just typical, and that's just the joys of live recording, isn't it? But we shall see. And yeah, I did simp for the nice power saving background here. I just think it looks really nice there, the Wakanda Forever one, and it just looks cool, and it means that we don't get all the annoying pop-ups on the screen. As you can see, it can be a bit overwhelming when you have just everything going off at the same time. Which is why it's nice for when you just want to auto-run stuff late at night. You can just leave it on the power-saving one. You don't have to worry about bright lights lighting up your room. You can run 100, 200 runs, use up all your energy, come back in the morning and see potentially if you got any awesome rewards. In terms of the actual game mode, it hasn't changed at all. It would be nice to see some new levels brought in. I know they've got that coming soon. The last ones we had were 11 and 12, which both brought in Celestial Essence. I think that was a mistake, having two of them drop the same reward. Hopefully they'll change that in the near future. It'd be nice to see like levels 13 to 15 where you'd need tier 4 characters, but they drop tier 4 rewards. But the difficulty is adjusted accordingly. That would be a really nice idea. I hope they're working on something like that. But we shall have to wait and see. Okay, so we've beaten the boss. Yeah, we just had to clear up the trash mobs, and there you go. So yeah, like I say, game modes that were very difficult to impossible before, now we're able to clear it in half the time. So that's great, and that's another one ticked off. I think the only ones I'm missing now are the ones with Jubilee and Dazzler, so that's really nice. But yeah, they do need to improve the amount of stages in there for it to be better. Epic Quest, yeah, we didn't get anything for Epic Quest. As for my thoughts on the Epic Quest and whether or not it's worth it at the moment, I did make a specified video, so you can watch that. I'll put a link to it on there now. Heroic Quest is still awful. It's just absolute waste of time. It's a waste of time and money. They could roll these characters into other game modes, the ones that you have to pay crystals for, so that's a big down. Now, challenge mode. There is one bright shining light. I think we all know what that is, and the rest are very bad. So let's start with Legendary Battle. We had two this year, and they were both extremely disappointing. Really, really disappointing. I think this was we have to do it because it's an MCU update, and yeah, even though they did, they really shouldn't have, because it just felt very much like a by the numbers, we have to do this, we're obliged to, and there was very little thought or care put into it. If you look at the rewards that you get, you have to transcend potential to get a transcended potential. You get a 4-star artifact, and you get a CTP of greed. Now, if Thor, Jane Foster Thor, or Valkyrie, if any of them were a hybrid character that really used greed, that would be great. However, none of them are. I had thoughts when I saw the patch notes, oh, maybe Thor will be at tier 4, but yeah, he's not. He doesn't even work that well with a Mighty Judgment. It has to be Rage, really. And the same again with the Wakanda Forever. They give us this enhanced second potential realization. It only works on tier 1 characters, so you're only saving 3 days. It's really not worth the crystals. And the CTP is a destruction, so unless you're absolutely desperate, you already have a destruction and you want to make it into a mighty destruction, then it is completely useless. Absolutely abysmal. The actual modes themselves aren't as fun and aren't as cinematic as ones we've seen before. The stories are very much by the numbers. I think a lot of us are still disappointed by the fact we haven't had a Wakanda Forever Part 2, where Shuri gets the Black Panther uniform and we get something for the original Black Panther. I think the only one which was any good was probably Stage 3 here of the Thor Love and Thunder, because you had a nice bit of back and forth rapport between Jane and Thor, and then Gore comes in. But apart from that, it's a big failure. So that's getting marked down. Shadowland, as we all know, no changes there, so that gets marked down. I'm not even going to bother going into Timeline Survival and Dimension Rift. We've been over it 100 times. No one goes into those, so they are both getting a massive F. Failed. They're both awful game modes. They need to be reworked, merged, something like that. Desperately needs to happen to improve those, because otherwise they're just going to go the way of Alliance Raid and the old Villain Siege, and they're just going to be forgotten. World Boss, yes, World Boss is the bright saviour. It is the bright saviour. I just got null. Do I need null? Yes, I do. Okay, that's cool. I was just checking because obviously that would figure into the yesterday's video or the other day's video where we were talking about how to re-roll World Bosses. So World Boss Legend, that's a huge win, huge pass. That gets a distinction. That gets top marks, A+. That's really great. World Boss Ultimate, as we know, desperately needs changing. Personally, and I come up with this idea as I was making this, it would be really cool if they rolled all of the Black Order and Thanos into one, and then maybe all of the mutants into one. So you still had to like meet different like requirements and you know, unlock characters if they really want to go that way, rather than having them as pure Crystal Wall unlocks. But having those world bosses as a kind of relay where you take in one team and then you go through Proxima, then Corvus, then Ebony, and then Supergiant, and then Thanos, that would be amazing. That would be really, really cool. Love to see that. So hey, get on it, Netmarble. Alliance Battle. This is really cool. I think that this has been a big win for the devs, because I know a lot of people are really into ABX, and ABX and then ABL has really allowed a lot of players who are in that old school video game, got to get the top score, got to get the best score, be number one mindset, really enjoy that. And I think ABX and ABL have allowed a lot of players to really go ham on that. Timeline Battle unfortunately hasn't changed. Yeah, we have Challenger now, so that might be great for the top 30 or so players, but I think that's been around for over a year anyway. I think that came in last year. So whilst it's nice to get those advanced reward tokens, it really hasn't changed anything for anyone else in the game, and the rewards are still really bad. So yeah, nothing to write home about. Alliance Conquest, Alliance Tournament, it's such a slim group of people who even play those that it's not worth mentioning. So even though ABX and ABL get a pass, the others just get a fail, unfortunately. And it's the same here. So Multiverse Invasion came in, and it was meant to take over World Boss Invasion, and kind of Alliance Raid as well, I guess, a little bit. And a bit of Villain Siege. It's kind of like all of those mixed into one, but still not great. All you do, you take your characters, you mark them down, you take your support characters, you mark them down, you hit the old repeat button, and you walk away. You don't care. I don't think most people care who's getting top score, what they're winning. Okay, most people just play it and then that's it. World event, we all know no one cares about that anymore, except when you need to get 50 points for the faction battle, or if you want to get 50 points for Future Pass or the Cosmic Core. That's the only reason people play it. And most of the time you press the button to say you want to play it, but then you back out. You don't even actually play the game mode. So again, we're just left with one game mode that saves this panel, and it is Giant Boss Raid. Now, sadly, I don't think anyone plays Mastermind or Galactus anymore. Maybe some people play Galactus on a Saturday or Sunday, whichever day it was again, that you got Silver Surfer bios. I think whilst Dormammu is great, and it's nice that they introduced a new game mode, and it's you know, it's fun and it's a bit more challenging, and you get the premium rewards that you need. It'd be nice if they changed it around a little bit in the new year, so that Galactus had a difficulty that was 3-star like Dormammu has. Yeah, thanks very much for that, Jenny. Or Master Mold. It'd be great if both of those. So if we had it like the old days where the boss rotated different days, and then you could choose the difficulty of each boss between level 1 and level 3 to get the different rewards, and the difficulty scaled accordingly, that would be fantastic. Would love to see that. So if Marvel Future Fight Team could do something like that in the new year, especially if we're going to get like maybe Kang come into the game, That would be really cool. If he's not going to be a world boss, if he's going to be like a giant boss raid, like a giant Kang for the Ant-Man Quantumania. I mean, this is all just speculation, of course, but that's what I'm thinking. It'd be really great to see that. They could also do something to change the open lobbies, because boy, I really want to go in there and try to help people. Like, I could go in solo and just do it on my own, like I do here. Just go in, press start, and collect the rewards. But I like to try and help people out. But boy, the amount of idiots in there who just kick people for no reason, it's really disappointing. So they need to improve that. I think that really needs to be improved. Maybe I'll just start hosting lobbies from now on. So yeah, 4 panels, and what do we think? Overall, I think very much like the face of magic here, you can tell, yes, we're unimpressed. Unfortunately, whilst there have been some good game mode changes, and there have been a lot of quality of life changes, the only positive changes have very much been passive game mode changes, where you can just leave your game, go off and do something else. There's only been 2 that are actually making the game more actively enjoyable, where you have to get engaged in the game, you have to be at your phone and actually play it to enjoy it. And that's World Boss Legend and Giant Boss Raid. They're the only 2 that have actually made a big positive improvement. So overall, it just gets a pass because the game is in better shape now than it was in 2021. I'd say it scrapes a borderline 40%. So, you know, it just gets that passing grade. But boy, it really needs to pull its bootstraps up and buckle down and work harder, because otherwise it's going to fail next year. But hey, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye for now.
We await your return, warrior.